Get started. So, good morning, everybody. First Tuesday of the month here with Freedom Team EXP. If you're a guest from another company, this is always open to all agents, all companies. India, I know. Good to see you. It's down there in Texas. It's good to have you here. I know she's a guest. So, anyway, guys, it's great to be here. So, we appreciate everybody getting on. First Tuesday, we just open this up. You know, a lot of times we'll have a topic that we go through, but first Tuesday, we open it up for anything and everything real estate related. Any questions you have, any thoughts you have, any concerns, any questions about marketing, deals, transactions, inspection issues, whatever you need. We're just going to kind of open it up. We got some topics we can get into if we need to, but we want this to be something where everybody can just participate. And if you've got an answer or a thought on a topic, throw it out there. This is a mastermind. We can all work together here. So, Eric Golden, good to see you. You said you had a couple. You want to share something? You had something you want to kick it off a little bit? What do you got going?
Wouldn't mind. Hey, everybody, welcome. Happy Tuesday. This is a great opportunity to talk about what we're doing that's successfully working. Those of us that have been around the Freedom Team for the last few weeks, we've been talking greatly about open houses and the utilization of open houses and some changes that we recommend when we do open houses. One of them, put up 3 times as many signs. The second thing,
the people who sent out the earnest money receipt.
Guys, mute yourselves if you can. We're going to hear everything you're saying and everything, all your background and everything. Shelley, we heard that, whatever you're doing down there. Anyway.
So the first thing is
go ahead, Eric.
The first thing is do 2 to 3 times as many signs. The second thing is on the sign, put free list of available homes. And so my wife, Everly, and I have been looking at doing more and more of that. Everly comes from more of the design standpoint and the luxury standpoint. So we reached out, as many of you know, you can reach out to other agents and ask if you can sit on their open houses. So we reached out a number of weeks ago to an agent that had a luxury property. And it was a $2.8 million luxury property. Everly held herself out as someone that could do an open house on that property, and he allowed her to do that. Come to find out that he was also he was part ownership of a builder that was building a property right next door that was 2.2 million. And now fast forward 3 weeks, we are now co-brokering, or EXP is now co-brokering both of those properties. So in the last 3.5 weeks, because Everly sat on an open house and then became friendly with the agent, that agent decided that she could probably sell the houses faster than he could. And we went through the process, and now she's in control, or quasi-control, and definitely getting paid off the listing side on $5 million worth of volume in the last 3 weeks. While everybody else in January was trying to figure out what to do to get more transactions, we've actually gone out and done it. Now, is this going to happen every time? No, but here's what does happen. She's done a couple of open houses, picked up potential clients into each of the open houses she's done. And so I want you to understand that the open house concept that we're talking about definitely works. Now, with that said, I have a question for the group, because we now have 2 houses next door to each other. They're not in $1 million neighborhood. They're revitalizing the neighborhood. These are one of the few. No, these are some of the few. These are 2.2 and 2.8 million. I really want to ask anybody out there that does luxury or that price point, are they still doing things like brokers opens? Are they still doing things where you bring brokers over, you have music, you have food, you have all that? And if someone is still doing it, we'd love to take the conversation offline to find out more detail. But we don't know whether that's still being done in that area. But my offering for today is open houses definitely work.
No, it's awesome.
So, yeah,
Go ahead. Who was that?
Jay,
Jason, hi.
Jason, there you go.
you muted yourself
You
again.
muted
Jason.
yourself, Jason.
There you go.
I'm good.
Do you stutter, Jason?
Can you unmute Jason?
We
I'm
can't
getting muted
hear
constantly.
you.
I didn't do it. I'm not
We
doing
got
it.
you now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, let's try this again. Yes, I'm seeing it. It is dependent highly on the neighborhood and the price point and what price band you're in. So if things are still flying off the shelves, great. No need to do it. If things are sitting for a little bit longer, or you want more traction, or you want to set yourself as a luxury agent in that market, absolutely do it. I'm seeing it done in mountain towns here as well as in Boulder itself proper.
Thank you for that. Emily, you have a question? Or are you good with what we've learned so far?
Thank you. Thank you very much. No, I was just thinking between doing the open house for brokers or calling each one of them or everything. So I think looking from the side of the selling and also marketing myself, I think I would really do it, like you said. Yeah.
Thanks again, Jason, for that. We'll reach out to you privately, of course. And but I do want to encourage everybody, if you're wondering where to get more business, they're all over the place. Just start doing some open houses, and we've done some great trainings for that if anybody needs some help. Jeff, back to you.
For sure. Romy, can you unmute yourself? Where are you, Romy? Romy had a comment, a question here. Are you there, Romy?
Yeah, I'm reading in the chat.
Somewhere in there, yeah. It says, this is the second time I've heard we can hold an open house listed by a different brokerage. I asked 2 brokers in my state and a second state, and both said we cannot do that. Only EXP listings. If we do EXP, I'd love to know how you're doing this. I know agents that do it all the time. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a state by Stephanie. Yeah, go ahead. Maybe it's a state by state thing.
So in the new release that happened the last week of December for the independent contractor agreement, that was offered leniency, so to speak. And so if that was a question you asked 2 months ago, the answer was no. If it's a question you asked today, the answer is yes.
Is it a state by state thing, Stephanie? Do you know that? I mean, is it? I mean, not that
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, you know, here's the thing. Like, I personally would never allow any of my listings to be held open by another broker or brokerage. I wouldn't do that. EXP all day long because I want to help out, you know, the family, right? But if there are agents out there that you know, would allow you to do so, absolutely. Why not? You know, I'm going to give my 2 cents, and it's a long time since I've done open houses, but I spent probably 20 years every single Sunday, unless it was a holiday, doing open houses just because, hey, I love new construction. I'm a developer and a builder and all those great things, right? So do an open house as an audition. Have the mindset that that open house is your audition. It's your audition for the neighbor next door who's looking for that agent that who works the hardest, right? Well, I'm going to go talk to this lady next door. There's a guy on this call, and the one thing he'll contribute possibly today is I drug him to an open house like 2 or 3 years ago. Cause one day I was like, I'm doing open house tomorrow just because I can. And so I do open house. Not only did I audition and get the listing next door to list with me, but I also got a referral to an agent for Nashville. And it was like, let's see, I was in $1 million house. The house next door was $1.3 million, and the deal down in Nashville was $950,000, all off of one open house because I woke up and said, I'm doing open house today because I need to do something to rejuvenate myself. Here, hold. Didn't you witness that?
I did, and it was the first. It was the first open house you could do after COVID because everything was in lockdown. You couldn't do open houses, and this was the first Sunday that you could do open houses after they lifted that. And it was pretty remarkable to witness.
Yeah, I was so interested in just being out in the public that I said I'm doing open house. Yes.
And regarding EXP, and the question is other brokerages. My guess will be if you call the EXP agents in your market. If you're in EXP, if you're in Keller, call the Keller agents. If you're in RE/MAX, call the RE/MAX agents. And just like I'm a specialist in doing open houses, I noticed Collier Street, it looks like it hasn't moved. Would you be open to having me do one there? It will respond. People will respond with a positive response, especially if you're within the same brokerage. So you may not need to venture outside of whatever brokerage you're in order to make that work.
I do have a friend in Arizona who, I mean, he got licensed, and like the first 6 months of his business, he did open houses every weekend, and probably 3/4 of them were with other brokerages. And he just called and did that, and they were happy to do it. And I'm with Stephanie. Like I personally would just like, I'm going to give them out to our agents. I mean, whatever, just to do that. But and we do it all the time. I've had agents, new agents, or any agents call me. They're looking for business. Hey, do you have any listings we can do an open house on? Absolutely, take it. Here it is. Here's the signs. We'll get you set up. Now, one thing I would tell you too, and you hear this, we've done some trainings on this. I know Brent Gove is big on this. Like, don't just do your 1 to 3 in the afternoon on Saturday. Like, just make it an event. I mean, it doesn't have to be. You could get a food truck to come over there. It doesn't cost you a dime. They'll come over there and set up and put balloons out. Brent's big on putting out 20 signs all over the place. But he's like, do it from 10 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Like, just make it an all day thing. Like, just turn it into something. You will pick up referrals and business. I think I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on that, but I love that idea. Like, just we want to get in and out, and I get it. It's a Saturday, and I'd much rather be doing other things. But man, if you want to pick up your business, there's a great way to do it. You can do it on Saturday, do a weekend of it, and just turn it into something. And that free list of homes, like what Eric talked about, have that sign everywhere. Free list of homes, free list of homes. People will come for the free list of homes. They're not looking for that home, but now you're going to pick up clients, you're going to pick up prospects, whatever, and you're giving out that free list, whatever. And next thing you know, you're for us, if you've got KV Core, I don't know if you guys have noticed that EXP 360 Home app. If you haven't checked that out, check that out. Okay, it's free to everybody. It connects you. You could give that out to everybody, that comes into your open house. You can give that out to people in the grocery store. EXP 360 Home, and it links back to your KV Core. They can check out their home value on there, and you can anything they do on there. And of course, you're getting alerted because it's going through your app, and you could whatever anybody asks you about the market, whatever. Hey, let me send you this app. What's your phone number? I'll send you this app. You've now got their number. The app goes out to them. They sign in on that. Everything they do now, you're creating rapport. That's the easiest thing in the world to take advantage of. So, just
Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm in my third year as a realtor, and they always talk about your first few years that you'd have to do a ton of open houses. And I think one of the things I did that people really liked is I would schedule a showing for a competitor's house in the neighborhood. If there was a similar house, price range, bedrooms within a mile or two, I would tell people to come into the open house. Hey, look, when this open house is over, I'm going to this address and I'm showing it to whoever wants to come. And many times it's a Remax agent, another agent. I just call and tell them what I'm doing, and they're tickled pink that I'm going to help promote their property also. But it's common sense. If I'm a good realtor, obviously I'm taking people to all those houses in that neighborhood that I can. And so why not offer up at this open house to say, hey, I'm going to this house afterwards. It's not mine. I'm not the listing agent on it, but I'd be happy to show it to you, maybe help represent you as a buyer's agent.
Good.
I just put Brent Gove's open house training video in the link. So if anybody wants to watch it, like Jeff mentioned, he does mega open houses when he does them, 50 signs he puts out, and he just goes over and above, but has built a huge business on that. So I just put his training video in the link there.
Thank you.
One other thing about the open houses as well, partner with your affiliates, your title company, your lenders. If the food trucks require a deposit or certain amount of food to be sold and it isn't, you know what? Those people will be more than happy to cover it and come in and sit in that open house with you just to have the opportunity to talk to potential clients. So use them. It helps offset costs amazingly well. And not just for open houses either. Do it for other events as well.
Thank you.
Talk about that. How many of you guys are using affiliates, or how many, maybe better question is, didn't know you could use affiliates to help offset cost of things, like for your client events, for Christmas parties, for, anything that you're doing. Is everybody utilizing their lenders and their title company? What all are, maybe somebody throw out a couple of things. What are you doing and utilizing your folks?
We've got not an open house, a speed networking Valentine's event that someone in our team is putting on in a couple of days. And we've got both a title and lender helping to offset costs for the venue as well as the food. And it's costing us nothing to do this. And we've got 25 people showing up locally, that most of which are not EXP agents.
So it's just going to be a networking. What's the environment? What is it specifically around with Valentine's?
It just happens to be around Valentine's. What we're trying to do is use it as the beginning of an attraction event. So, you know, hey, we have culture. This is what's going on. We love to hang out. We love to have fun. And tell us about what you guys are seeing in the market and what's happening with your listings. And, you know, because here in Boulder, we have such a huge price point variation. We go from 300,000 to 13 million. And it's really, really hard to stay on top of how all the different pieces in the different areas are moving. So part of it is talking to people. And let's face it, we've fallen out of that habit over the last 3 years. So trying to show people we're into it, we know what we're doing, and come have fun with us.
Cool.
Nice.
Real
Right.
quick,
That's
guys,
great.
there's that app right there. This is in the App Store, 360 Home. If you haven't downloaded that, I would download that, check that out. And it's very simple to give out to people whenever you run into them. So 360 Home ownership, really good. You can check that out. Ties into all kinds of stuff. Romy, you got your hand up. You got your, I think you can.
Yes, I had my app turned off. I mean, my microphone turned off on my privacy. So I went in and turned it on. But back to the open houses for different brokerages. So you're saying maybe 2 months ago it wasn't allowable, but now it is? Because I asked 2 brokers in Arkansas and Tennessee. I live in Tennessee. They both said no. Had to be EXP listings.
Kathy, do you know anything about Tennessee with that?
I don't know specifically on that question, but I do feel like it's more up to each broker individually if they want to allow, you know, if they want to allow that or not. So I don't know. I've not asked that specifically of our Tennessee broker, because I'm kind of like Stephanie. It's like there's a lot of EXP agents that have listings all the time. And in my opinion, there is enough EXP listings to just host one of our own. So I've never in 24 years ever tried to go outside of, you know, a company that I'm part of to host other open houses. And if I had my own listings, I'm more than happy for any of the agents, you know, within EXP just to host mine to be open. So I guess, so I don't know the answer to that specifically because I've not asked that of our broker.
And here's another thing. If there's not an EXP agent with a listing you want to hold open, go find a new construction house where the builder doesn't have it listed and offer to do an open house before you ask for the listing. And then he's going to be like, wow, they're willing to work and I don't even have an agreement, you know, impress people like that. So
Yeah.
there's plenty of those out there as well.
Definitely go make friends with builders. That was a third of our business in a previous life before we left New Jersey. Love working with builders.
Well, and the other thing to do, you know, with builders that are what I call track builders, where they're building whole subdivisions and what have you, and they have on-site agents sitting there that work for them, the builder, go make relationships with those agents because they've got buyers coming in that got to sell houses. And most of those builders won't allow them to list outside of, you know, their development that they're working for. And, you know, go create relationships with some of the agents that work for these builders as well, because you can pick up a lot of those clients where they're having to sell their house to be able to buy the new construction house.
And if you impress those agents, once the subdivision is done, they might not want to move with the builder to the new area. So you might have someone that you can attract.
That's true too.
And the builders right now, I mean, you know, I don't know, they kind of were like this a little bit the last couple of years, but now they're all like, please come. I got a thing yesterday from a builder here in town, Colorado Springs. I mean, they're offering like a $3,000 bonus on your first sale, a $5,000 bonus on your second sale. it goes up to like, 5 sales, you can get $41,000 in bonuses if you have 5 sales with this builder this year. I mean, like they're just opening up like, please come. We need you. We need you now. We didn't need you before. Now we need you. So, anyway, any other thoughts on the open house thing? Move on to another.
I have a quick question. Oh, go ahead.
Sure. Go ahead, Kevin.
A quick question on that approaching builders and offering to offer an open house before it's even listed. How do you advertise for something like that? How would you get the word out? Because only neighbors would come. If you're not on the MLS and you're not, on Zillow and you're not anywhere that people would see that there's an open house.
Social media. Would be one place I would, blast it all over. I'd do videos all over social media.
As silly as it sounds, posting on the board in your supermarket. I know our local supermarket has basically a bulletin board as you walk in and out, and you just post something there with little tear-offs. I've had silly good responses on things like that before as well.
I think, I mean, the day of, or, like for us here, we can start putting signs out. Like we have to put them out. We can put them out on Friday. We have to pull them out by Sunday or by Monday morning. They get taken, whatever. But lots of signs leading out there, and get them out on Friday and leave them up for the weekend, balloons and all that kind of stuff. Stephanie, yeah.
Here's a real quick one for you, Kevin, because I get what you're saying. It's not anywhere because it's not on an MLS, so it's not IDX feeding anywhere. But go out, do those videos, and spend $60 on a Google ad, and your keywords are the zip code, the price, and Zillow. Those are your 3 keywords. Anybody that goes to Google to go to Zillow, it's going to pop up right in their face. You'll get more traffic and more off of that than anything else you'll ever do.
Zip code, Zillow,
Right.
and your name.
And like a price range. Yeah. So that way you're showing up in the people that can afford it.
That's really good. Thank you so much.
Like Kathy said, too, post it in all the social media, all the other stuff in Facebook, all the different groups that you can be part of, the local real estate group, whatever will allow you to do it. Because we did one 2 weeks ago and we did the exact same thing. We posted all over the place, Instagram, LinkedIn, the whole 9 yards, and all over the different local social media stuff, and just take advantage of that. Some will let you, some won't. Put it on Marketplace, put it on Craigslist, different stuff, and you'd be surprised what kind of activity you get out of it.
For sure. Jen, did you have a question or comment? Jen? Tom? No? Okay. If you guys do, just go ahead.
I have one. This is Rami again.
Sure.
I'm kind of a new agent. I haven't done but a couple of open houses. But what I struggled with were the signs. And what I did is just go into Lowe's and bought up all the open house signs they had. And then I wrote the address, put balloons on them. Is that what everybody else is doing? Or are you buying pre-made open house signs through EXP? Because I could barely read the addresses that I wrote and the time frames. I mean, you have to be going pretty slow to see where the open house is. But I had signs leading up to the house, but I struggled with that because
So Romy, what I've always done is I just have a lot of signs that I got from a local, I've got a local guy that makes all my signs, and they're pointer signs, and I don't have the address on my open house signs at all. It's just pointer signs, and it's about having enough out there. You got to make sure that they're from the busy road all the way in to the neighborhood, right? Every single corner that you can put an open house sign on, it's just pointer signs. You don't have to have the addresses on there. Like I use my same open house signs over and over and over again.
okay.
So, and I would have some professional signs made up locally, they're $10 a piece or something. Just to have, the EXP logo, your contact information, and it's got an arrow, right? So you're just putting the signs out along the way from every entry direction possible. And I always start it from a main road in, right? So whatever the busiest road is in, see there, Mark Cairns has his sign. So it's got the arrow, open house, his name and EXP right there, if you see it on the screen. So that's a similar sign to what I have. And all you're doing is just putting the pointer signs out. You don't need the address, and then you can just use them over and over again. Brian, you got yours there?
There you go.
Yeah, that's good too. Free list of area homes, open house. So that's good too, because maybe they're not interested in that house, but they're like, hey, I want that free list. I like that.
Yeah, that's
I'm not
that's the
seeing
Brent
that
Gove
sign.
training. That's the,
Okay.
if you go through Brent Gove's training, that's the signage that he
Yeah.
recommends. Yeah.
Good stuff. And just get a bunch of those. They're like that card. They're like a kind of a thick
Corrugated.
sort of
Yeah,
thing.
corrugated.
Cardboard,
Yeah.
get a little wire thing. And I mean, it
Yeah.
costs about $10 a piece. You buy 10 of
Yeah.
them, and, you know,
Yeah.
you
And
have
if
them
the
forever.
ground is really hard and really dry, bring a bottle of water and just pour a little water where you're trying to stake it in. If you're doing it, I know here where there's busy streets, I have to use sandwich signs. So we got 3 sandwich signs and about 30 of the open house signs. I think the total spend was $100.
Mhm.
And they were custom with our logos on it. So they're not expensive.
Great. Thank you.
Good. All
And
right.
do you guys think that staging the open house works better?
Critical, absolutely critical. Buyers,
Okay.
I'd say 99 out of 100 buyers have no imagination. There were 2 open houses next to each other, same price, same model. The only difference was one was staged, and the one that was staged was actually more tired. The staged one sold in that first weekend. The other one was on the market for almost a month. The traffic was between the two was the unstaged home just had leftovers that people were going, well, we're here, we might as well look, but they had less than half the traffic.
Thank you.
How many of you guys are seeing things pick up? We're really seeing a pickup here.
Mhm.
You guys seeing that wherever you are? Yeah.
We have no inventory. We're almost down to our COVID lows.
That's the challenge right now is more listings.
Mhm.
We need more listings for sure. Which I think that right there is what's keeping the prices from, you know, everybody's talking about this big price drop and, you know, the price, whatever crashes, the market's crashing. And again, we talked about this last time. We talked about it a lot, you know, the headlines out there, you got to be educating your clients. You got to be talking, read past the headlines, you know.
Mhm.
I saw a thing yesterday, 67% of consumers out there think that we are going to see a housing market crash within the next 3 years. And it's all because they're reading the headlines. The numbers don't verify that at all. They just don't. The interest rates have kind of stabled out, even coming down. They're just kind of hanging here right now, whatever. But you know, it's all about supply and demand. That's what determines the price. There's the supply is still so low compared to what it was years ago when the prices just plummeted. We're not in that market, you know.
And we're
but
also not going to see foreclosures like we did in 08
Not
and
even-
09 because
Mhm.
not
people
even
bought
close.
with fixed. So they're sitting pretty at 3.5, even 4%. They're like, and that's part of the reason why there's no inventory. They're not moving. There's nowhere for them that where they want to go unless they have to move somewhere or they're moving out of the area. So that's keeping inventory low. So you can't really have a crash if there's nothing to buy.
Definitely. Mark, go ahead and unmute yourself there.
Yeah, and just a open question about kind of the supply and demand and the pricing of houses that you know, buyers right now are you know, much more fickle about little things. So if it backed up to a busy road, you know, the last couple of years it didn't make a difference at all. You know, now that makes a fairly big difference. So I got a few listings that have had you know, a fair amount of activity, you know, a couple lowball offers, but I'm kind of scratching my head. You know, it's location, condition, and price that will sell it. And these couple properties, the condition isn't great. And I'm just trying to recalibrate of you know, making sure I got a few things priced right in the market and you know, is the condition really to be back up to perfect or almost perfect, or how, with your experience and a few other people, where does the condition play kind of in this market right now? Because in the last few years, it didn't have as much effect, but it sure seems like it does now.
Well, I'll start off and let other people chime in. For us, I call it the lipstick. It's the most inexpensive things that you could do that matter the most. Is the carpet worn? Well, you might not have to replace it, just have it professionally cleaned. Paint, you know, if it's the color scheme from 2005, definitely go in and update and get away from the darker, bolder colors and go more towards the brighter, neutral colors. Paint's the cheapest thing to do. Even if you have cabinets that are looking tired, it's not that much money to hire someone who comes in and professionally sprays the cabinets. It makes them look brand new. And people are going, oh my God, it's going to cost me $75,000, $150,000 to redo the kitchen. Spend $3,000 spraying the cabinets, and that objection goes away. So that to me, you know, it's the cheap stuff. The lipstick, what Flipper would do to brighten something up. It doesn't have to be new appliances. It doesn't have to, it must have broken. But it's the big stuff. And staging, the art of staging is basically distraction. It's pulling your eye away from problem areas. So you'll see a stager put in something brightly colored to draw the eye away from some unevenness that's on the drywall. And I remember the stager I was working with, she's like, oh, the buyers are going to be so upset when they walk in and all the staging is out, because all of a sudden you see all the holes and all the imperfections on the wall. And they walk through, and I'm expecting to hear people complaining, and they're just like, oh, okay, we need to do a little bit of painting and touch up, no big deal. Whereas it probably wouldn't have sold otherwise.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts from anybody?
Well, I mean, Mark, what I always say, condition is always, you know, in light of, I mean, condition affects the price, right? Just like location affects the price. And every time I have a listing appointment, I tell my clients, I say, look, you know, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm going to tell you what I think the market will bear for this property, you know, based on my experience, based on the comps and what have you. But if we go and have 12 to 14 showings and we don't have an offer, and I say legitimate showings, not open house people coming through. If we go and we don't have an offer, the market is telling us we're priced incorrectly. You know, you're not going to hear feedback that says you're priced overpriced unless you're grossly overpriced. And so I tell, you know, the client, the seller, I'm like, the market is going to tell us what this house is worth. I'm going to give you my expert opinion on the front end, you know, and I've got 24 years experience of this, but the market ultimately determines the price of your house. Right. And so if you set it up that way on the front end, knowing 10 or 12 showings, 13 showings, whatever, we don't have an offer, that means that the buyers are finding a better value somewhere else. And so once that's happened, when I had that conversation with the seller, like, we need to reduce the price. You know, we've had 12 showings and not one offer. As you said, you've had, you know, multiple showings and you had a couple of lowball offers. Well, if those lowball offers are in the same price range, both of them are in the same price range of what you guys consider lowball offers, that may be closer to what the real market value of that house is.
Yeah, good point.
What I've always used in the same thing, Kathy, right along that line is, and I just had that conversation with the sellers up front, you know, like, again, same thing, you know, every 10, this is what I would say, every 10 showings or every 30 days, we should at least have an offer. If we've gone, you know, our first couple of weeks, we've had, you know, 9 showings, 10 showings, like, we're close, but we're not, but we haven't had an offer yet. We're probably 1.5 to 3% off from where we need to be. A little slight adjustment, and you're probably going to get to where now you're getting an offer. We're close. But if you go, you know, 2, 3, 4 weeks, you know, whatever, and you've had 3 showings, 4 showings, you're probably 3 to 5% off. on the price. And I have this conversation with them up front so that if we need to do that adjustment in 2 weeks or 30 days, we're not going to fight about it, you know, like, because I already told them that up front, and you'd be that, and that, I'm telling you, that works. I mean, you know, again, if you've had 8, 9, 10 showings in your first couple of weeks, but no offers, just a slight little adjustment, you know, if it's listed at 300,000, you just, you know, whatever, you drop it by 5,000, you drop it by, you know, whatever, just a slight drop, you know, and you don't put, you know, price adjustment, you know, price improvement, you put that out to everybody, and now you get the offer. I've seen that so many times. But again, 30 days, you've had 3 or 4 showings, you're not where you need to be. You're going to go, and I just tell them, look, do you want, you know, well, let's just hang tight a little bit. You want to go another 30 days and have 3 or 4 more showings? Like, now you're becoming old news. Now you're 60 days on the market. Let's do this adjustment now, 3 to 5%. That's what it's going to be, you know, and then you get the offer. Now you're good. Now the showings start picking up, and then you get the offer. So that's just what I've always used, and that has worked well for me over the years, you know?
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff.
In the same vein, we've had clients with pushback on either wanting to stage or do improvements. And we're like, okay, this would be the price of the home that's improved. And if we don't, this is where it would go. Which do you want to do? Because sometimes they want ease versus the best price. And it's our job to do what our clients want them to do. So putting it out there. We actually have a friend who's a realtor, and she does commercial and hasn't been in residential in, I'll be polite and say, a while. Her words were, I don't believe in staging. And her home was tired. And we looked at her and went, Kathy, not you, but our friend's name is Kathy. Go to an open house, go to a couple open houses, look at what's selling and what's not. And she came back and went, okay. And it took a little while, but she went, okay, who's the name of your stager? We're like, she's like, I'm not spending $10,000. I'm like, Kathy, you're spending $2,000, maybe 3. And I think she spent 1,800, and it sold in the first weekend. So not just telling them, but showing them can also help depending on where they are and what they want to have done.
Yeah, good point.
Do you know the stat, Jason or Jeff? Do you know the stat on, because I'm a huge advocate of staging as well, especially if it's a vacant property.
9%.
What?
9%. Typically, it's a 9% premium for a home that's staged.
Okay, I thought it was a little higher than that. So basically, it's going to sell for 9% over what it would if it weren't staged. Okay, and then
That's
how
the
much
last
quicker?
stat that I heard.
How much quicker? Because it's quicker too. It not only does it sell for more, it sells, you know, X% faster.
Yeah, I don't know how much quicker. The 9% was pre-COVID number that I had from about 3-4 years ago. I haven't seen anything new, but a Google search would probably pop that pretty quick. Sure, let's look.
And quicker makes a difference, guys. And you can, and again, that's the thing, you got to have that conversation as well. I mean, let's say we go 3 months on the market, that's 3 more mortgage payments that you're making, you know, that you're not getting back. You know, if your mortgage payment is $3,000 a month, I'm just, you know, most of that, if you know, in the first 10 years, whatever, I mean, most of that's going towards interest. You know how it works. So you just spent, you know, $9,000, and you're not getting another $9,000 of value in your property. You know, and
Okay,
so to have that conversation. Go ahead, Jason.
So here's what comes from NAR. A staged home will sell between 3 to 30 times faster. And 82% of buyers said staging a home made it easier for them to visualize.
You know,
Say that again,
Does it
Jason.
say how
One more
much
time.
percentage wise more? You said 9. Does it have that?
Well, let me go search for, well, let me repeat what I just pulled. So this is from NAR. 82% of the buyers said staging a home made it easier for them to visualize their home as their future home. And staging will sell a home 3 to 30 times faster.
Mm-hmm.
And now let me go see how much more a staged home will sell for.
3 to 30, that's a broad number.
It is.
That speed factor, does that make sense what I said a few minutes ago? Because again, to have that conversation, like, well, we're just not in a you know, they want to ride it out. And if no, it's just number one, it's going to lower the price, the lower the offer you're going to get because people think they have more room to negotiate with you and they have more power
Yep.
now because it's been on the market for 60 days or 90 days. But also those mortgage payments, you're again, it's eating into the price of, you know, of your net return on your house because you're not getting that back. So all those factors come into play. Go ahead, Jason.
NAR's coming back 6 to 10% higher than homes that aren't staged. And that's literally just typing in the question and it popping up under NAR. So very fast, very easy. If you have a different question, Google's your best friend.
They're always right.
Hey, guys.
Mhm.
I have a question. So what if you have a customer who is balking at that because maybe they don't have the cash on hand? Do you think in lieu of staging and doing painting or whatever that you know would be effective to offer a seller credit? I'm seeing a lot of seller credits now for buying down rates and whatnot. Are you seeing success with sellers offering incentives like that?
I think it's an option to do that. I mean, if they don't have the cash, I mean, it's an option. But again, it goes to what Jason just read. It's really about the visualization for buyers, right? So offering the cash or credit towards closing isn't going to return them the same money on a contract price as it will if it were done. And so I think I would just have that conversation. The other thing that you can consider doing is if you've got good relationships with your stagers, if you got good relationships with painters, if you've got some really good connections, and if you don't, I'd encourage everybody to start developing that. A lot of those people will take a deposit and then let them pay the rest at closing time. And so you can just, again, that's a value add that you have as an agent coming forth. It's like, you know what? Let me talk to my painter. Let me have him come give us a quote. He may just take a small deposit and then collect it at closing time. And again, if you have that relationship, and my stager will do a lot of that. She'll take a deposit and then collect the rest at closing out of the closing proceeds. So she literally charges $1,000 on the front end, and then we just collect the rest at closing. So if you don't have relationships like that, I would start developing relationships with flooring people, paint people, because like Jason said, those are really where the best money is going to be spent. You're going to get the biggest bang for your buck with both of those things. And then staging as the third thing. As I mentioned a minute ago, I'm a huge advocate of staging if it's a vacant house.
Yeah.
I mean, and I tell my clients, I say, why do you think every model home is staged? Because buying a home is an emotional process. And when you walk into an empty house, it's very cold and sterile. But when you walk into a staged home, it's got that warmth and it, you know, the feel to it. You know, that's why every model home by builders are staged. Because you want people to feel the house.
It just it reminds me, and I think so this house that we're living in right now, my wife was showing, you know, we're both work together. She was shown this house years ago, and she walked in and she told the people, the buyers, she was like, if you guys don't buy this house, we're going to buy this house. And anyway, so you know, she brought me over to the house, and I was like, I walked in, I'm like, oh no, what are you thinking? Like, no, we're not going to buy this house, whatever. Like, oh, it didn't hit me, and it was vacant. And then it was funny because we weren't like, we were talking about moving. We weren't like actively doing what we were talking about. So it was like 3 weeks later, and she's like, let's go look at some homes. It was a Sunday afternoon. We went out to a neighborhood and we went into this builder's model. And I was like, oh my God, this is the house. I love this house. She's like, well, that's the same house that I showed you through. No, it's not. We went straight from that house back to this house. I was like, oh my God, now I could see it. But even myself as the realtor, who I can look past all that stuff, I couldn't get past it. I couldn't see it. So we ended up buying this house, and you know, it was that model. That's, you know, you walk in the model home, and of course, it's just, here it is. It's all the warm colors and it's staged out. And I'm telling you, I fell in love with it, but I couldn't see past it when I walked into the exact same house. The paint colors, it was cold, like Kathy said. It wouldn't stay. It was empty. It was just whatever. And so this is the house we're living in now. just helped me to see how vital that can be. But like, you know, Michelle, a lot of these people, they will take the, you know, you can do it up front, and if you build those relationships, they can get paid at the end
Mhm.
out of the proceeds of the sale. So ways to get it done that way. So
One thing to be cautious about is the disparity on how much people think things cost. So let's say painting a room. A
That's
seller
true.
will think, oh, that's $100, and the buyer will think, oh, that's $5,000. And the reality is going to be somewhere in the middle, and both are going to be off by quite a bit. So having a quote, if you're not doing the work there, buy a contractor, go, we have a quote for someone to do this work for, helps eliminate all that confusion. Because I know when I'm showing homes, someone's like, oh my God, I have to do a whole new kitchen. I'm like, okay, what don't you like? They're like, I can't stand the color. Like, we have to rip out the cabinets. I go, do you like the cabinets? They're like, well, yeah, functionally they're fine. They're like, but I hate the granite. I'm going, okay, for this size kitchen, it will probably cost you about $2,000 to $3,000 in granite and about $1,000 to $2,000 in spraying the cabinets. If that was done, would you be interested? And they'd go, well, I'm not sure. I'm like, well, take a picture of it and let's Photoshop it. So, you know, we spend 5 minutes doing a really crappy Photoshop job, and they're like, oh, I love that. That's perfect. It's like, okay, how much do you want to write the offer for?
good.
I like the Photoshop idea. I've never actually done that.
Yeah. There's an app out there or something that does that. Not Photoshop. It's something very simple. I forget what it is. Some sort of like a staging app or something where you can
Yeah.
take like
Yeah, it's not Photoshop.
I forget
Back
what
when
it
I
is.
did that, it was a painting app from I think Benjamin Moore.
Yeah. I've seen a couple things like that out there. Cool. Who else has something? Another thought? Another challenge you're facing right now? Maybe it's a lead generation question or
I
a
have
market.
another question.
Sure, Evelyn.
And going back to advertisement, when you list a home, where is your priority to pay for a boosting? Because before I was doing Facebook all the time, but I have had a lot of problems with Facebook because they don't allow to zip code anymore. So where do you start paying for your boosting? What websites?
Yeah, but I mean, with KV Core, I still use. I do use the property boost.
Yeah.
In that, and that's still working really well for me. Whenever we've done that, is that what
From
you're using?
KV Core.
From KV Core.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that what you're using?
I am using them. Yes.
Yeah, property boost in the back of that for $60 for a week.
Okay.
Them running. I mean, every time I run that, I will get anywhere from 10 to 25 leads that come in for $60. It's a great deal, you know. And you can boost other people's listings on there as well. You know, I always call to get their permission to do it, but again, I've never had anybody tell me no. You know,
That's so great.
Brian, I might be calling you this week, by the way.
Mhm.
So anyway, but that works well.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah. Who else? Marketing question, a home inspection question, a lead generation question. Anything. One thing I'll share go ahead. Somebody have something?
Yeah, Linda, how are you?
Oh, hey, Linda. How are you?
I'm good. I have a lot of Facebook pages that I've created, like they're entitled Open House Cordova, Open House Memphis, Open House Midtown. And I'm getting a lot of traction, but I'm just wondering, can someone tell me how I can take those Facebook pages and get some lead generation other than posting listing, getting with an agent and asking if it's okay to post from that certain area? How can I get more traction there?
Off of it. I'm
You
not
just have
totally.
these groups set up with different open house, Memphis, open house, Cordova, open house. Is that what you're saying? You have different pages that are specific to just those areas?
Correct.
Well, who's our Facebook experts here? I mean, I guess the thought that comes to my mind is being able to extract those names out and then just do some targeted marketing direct through Facebook directly to those people. Who's our Facebook experts on here?
When I have placed ads or just post on like Facebook groups, neighborhood groups, I'll put a link of my website. So anybody that clicks on the website goes directly into KB Core. So that's how I've been able to capture leads if you're working with Facebook groups. I also occasionally will throw in the link from the website that you can kind of separate it, where it's just the link that says, what's the value of my home? And one thing with that, though, I've noticed that sometimes it doesn't give a value. So you might have to go back and redo that yourself and then reach out, but still it captures that lead.
Okay, so what you're saying is take my link to KB Core and put it on those pages. Is that
Yeah.
what I was saying? I mean, I heard.
Yep. And I mean, you can title it any way you want. If you're trying to get listings, you can say, you know, what's the value of my home? If it's general or buyers, you know, you can just say, hey, are you looking to buy or sell? You know, or, you know, if you're looking for open houses, there's a number of ways you can get people to kind of click on your link, and then it captures their lead.
Okay, I'm on my phone. Who is that? I can't see who's talking.
It's Monica Perkins in Louisville, Kentucky.
Do you mind calling out your name, Monica? I mean, your number.
Sure. It's 502
Okay.
432 4280. Yeah, and give me a call or text.
I'm gonna do it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys know how to go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say, in that same vein, one of the things that we've done with a lot of success is partnered with a local bank and put on buyer seminar and seller seminar events. We posted those on Facebook. So the first way we got people was people that clicked on the link to register and didn't show up. We still have their contact information. Then the people who showed up, we had their contact information from the sign-in sheet. So now we know who's raised their hand and who actually went through the effort to attend. And we did a couple of months of those, and we got 10 or 15 buyers and 6 listings out of it. So it's a fast way to get involved in a new area if you don't have a sphere to reach out to. And it was also done through Facebook, through social media, where we had that, but it was basically a click funnel.
And do you guys know, I mean, and Lindera, Monica, maybe, you know, let me share my screen real fast. So, because this is something that you can do. Like here's my wife, and I've taught on this before. Here's our KB Core page, our home page. So if I click on home value right here, which again, anybody could click on this, you know, whatever. But if I click on this and then take that link right there at the top, copy that out of the address bar, copy that, I can go to Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever, and I paste it over here, and now it creates this link. And, you know, right here, you know, how much is your home worth? You know, whatever. Has the market shift affected the price of your home? You know, whatever. You know, looking to move this summer? You know, how much will your home sell for? You know, free online home evaluation. Click here. No obligation. All in caps. You know, when somebody clicks on that, it takes them back to this page. They put in their address, put in their email. I get the lead. It does send them an automated estimate, but now I can talk to them and get more specific and all that kind of stuff. So is that what you're doing, Monica? Something along that line? Is that, you know, you post that link on your sites?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I've done that, I have had a lot of success.
Yeah.
People are curious about the value of their home.
For sure.
And I like that you can separate that, and that pops up with the question mark. It's eye-catching.
And the key with that, what I found is, here's where people go wrong, is they'll post it one time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they didn't get anything. Well, that didn't work. You know, it's like, man, I'd have an assistant post that 5 times a day. Like whatever. I mean, just get it out there, whatever, or multiple times. Put it on your business page one day, then put it on your personal page, put it on LinkedIn, put it on different places, your social media sites, but do it consistently, whatever, and you will get leads out of that. It's just that's the key to it. So that can work. KV Core works great for that. But if you don't have KV Core, all the IDX sites like that, if you have a page of any kind of website, most of them have a place on there where you can do something like that. So, for us, that's what we're using is KV. So, Lindera, did you see that? What I did right there?
I saw some of it.
Okay. And Monica can help you with that. She's working on that. If you want to call me after this, feel free to as well. Reach out to me. We can jump on a Zoom real quick. I can show you.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm actually at work. I work a day job, but I'm trying to become full time.
There you go.
So if you don't mind.
Anytime, reach out to me. Reach out to me through workplace chat, or whatever. My number, whatever. You're more than welcome to call me. We can get on and help you.
Appreciate it.
Yep, for sure. So,
Jackie has her hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jackie. Go ahead. Didn't see up there.
Okay, thank you. I was just looking at my EXP webpage or my website, and I don't see that on mine. I don't see the home value. Is that something that you added?
Did I add it? Do you know, Jason? Anybody familiar with KV Core? I set it up 2-3 years ago. I don't remember if it was something I had to add or if it was just on there.
It's a setting.
Okay, yeah, it's a setting that you have to go to separately, and I don't know that I could guide you to do that.
Okay.
All right, I'll play with it.
Jumped in, sets a setting. Yeah, if you need help with it, we'll and just with Freedom Team, you could always go to Kim Herrera. We have KV Core stuff all the time going on. Just reach out to us. We'll help you figure that out.
Yeah, I would go to Kim during her concierge hour because I don't see it on mine, and I set mine up 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So jump in with the concierge hour with Kim. Whatever, she's got different things. Go to the Freedom Team workplace page. Go to the calendar. Or if you're not in workplace, jump into workplace. But you also go to freedomteamsupport.com. That's our website, and you'll see the calendar right there at the top of the page with all the scheduled times to get on there. But you can always reach out to us as well.
My page actually has a big panel that says check your home valuation, and I don't even know if I set that, but maybe Kim set it for me. I have no idea.
Okay.
But I just wanted to share with everybody what I'm doing now. I actually have a marketing piece out to my farm. I don't know if anybody has a screen, they can see that. I put a QR code that takes people right to that home valuation link. So this was approved, of course, by the broker, and this is going out to my farm. So I think, I don't know if it's working. I'll check back with you. I just sent them out on Friday. So, but I'm trying to follow up the MLS. I don't know if anybody knows this, but they actually can provide you with a numerical score as the likelihood of, someone's going to sell in the near future. And with high and very high and cold and like that. And I'm targeting people who are most likely to sell in the next 6 months in my local farm. So that's my share for today.
Cool. It's awesome. Any last questions or thoughts before we wrap it up? We're at the top of the hour. It's been good, guys. Appreciate everybody sharing. Jason, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's good to have you on here. All the things you added, Stephanie as well. Kevin, everybody that was able to jump in. The recording of this will be up and loaded onto the workplace page within the next hour. So if there's something you want to catch again, feel free to. And we'll definitely be back next Tuesday. What do we have next Tuesday, Kathy? I forget. What's going on next Tuesday? Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
Valentine's Day party.
There you go.
So,
we'll get it posted.
we're having business brokerages next week. Talking to business brokerages or learning more about business brokerages. The following week, we're doing YouTube, some basic YouTube training. And so, come back the next couple of weeks. And the end of the month, we're doing a Wealth Summit that Kelly Fasterling's putting on. And that's going to be recorded or going live from Zoom. So, we've got some good topics coming up the rest of the month.
For sure. So guys, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're all here to help. Whatever, all the Freedom Team leaders, whatever, but all of us here together. We're all working together. So feel free to reach out anytime. Again, if you're from another brokerage, feel free to reach out to us as well. We're always open to, all agents, all companies every time we do this. So
Thank you so much.
appreciate everybody being here. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a
Thank
great
y'all.
week. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
Take care.
Bye.